The manager of our TRT World Research Center, Tarek CHERKAOUI, is here. Tarek, what in your analysis is the reason that Bouteflika has postponed the election? Indeed, did he even postpone it, or did someone tell him this is what you will do?
This is indeed interesting, and I find that this is another act of, actually a textbook act of political deception. Because what happens, in fact, is not a victory for the streets. It's more like an attempt to buy time. We all remember how Bouteflika wanted 1 more year. He pledged to do things like in that year. The people in power probably saw that there is a resistance to this, the 5th term. So basically what we have now is an unconstitutional and illegal 4th term, continuing without basically any limits.
When you were sitting here this time last week, you said the regime, the government, those who make up le pouvoir, the power that they call this system in Algeria, they have no plan B. But what is happening now that it's being forced, the government, to come up with a plan B, with Bouteflika saying that I need to move the country forward to the next version of its republic? What is he saying?
Well, people have been, in fact, disappointed, and I've browsed through many pages on social media for NGOs and grassroots movements, and everybody's calling for protest. Actually, protest happened last night. People are not buying what is said to them, and actually it's exactly what we said last time. There is no plan B. The thing that they have been doing right now is just playing catch-up, and it's not convincing anybody. Even the people they put in charge are not accepted by the people in the streets. For example, you have a former interim minister now who is accused of rigging the elections multiple times, is in charge of the process. And you have others like Lamamra, who is a former foreign minister, is also now, a post has been created for him, a position of deputy prime minister. Now, these people have been in charge of whitewashing the junta in the 90s, and people know them very well. And these are the same people that you bring again to promote democracy. It doesn't sound very legitimate.
The desire for change is quite obvious from the number of people on the streets, but what is the reality if change were to come fairly quickly, the way people on the streets wanted to? Because the question is whether Algeria is even ready or prepared for a new kind of system, whatever the desire might be.
I think the people in the streets are ready. They have been calling for genuine democracy since the early 90s.
But a call for a democracy is not the same as being able to actually implement it if the systems and the structures are not in place for it.
Absolutely. I hear you loud and clear. Well, my position is the following. I think the regime should have consulted at least with some genuine forces, and then there will be some compromise in the middle. But right now, everything is a diktat from a top-down perspective, and this is inflaming the situation. Even the message of Bouteflika was inflaming, because he said basically what could be read as, you called me to come for the fifth term, and nobody, in fact, was supporting this call. So things are very problematic right now.
Do you think there's any way that the number on the streets will diminish after this announcement from Bouteflika, for at least the people to possibly give some time to see what kind of change might come through the dialogue that Bouteflika wants to start?
If and this is hypothetical, if they brought like some people who have some semblance of legitimacy with the street, this would have probably worked out. But the fact that they brought people that people already know for the lack of legitimacy and lack of integrity to drive the system, I think it's not going to work. And my best take is that there will be more people in the streets the coming Friday.
Tarek, it's always really interesting to hear your analysis, and I just want to point the viewers towards a research piece that you've co-authored with our colleague Michael Arnold at the TRT World Research Center website. You'll find a complete analysis written by Tarek and Michael about what's going on in Algeria right now. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you for having me.